The Raiders, they are doing it right. I'm sorry I started off so aggressive. If you don't know who we are on this channel, my name is Craig. Me and my buddy Chris, we started this. We are Detroit Lions fans. We do not hide that, but we love talking about teams that sometimes, quite frankly, get overlooked or the national media isn't talking about a lot. I think the Raiders oftentimes fall into that mix, especially with some of their biggest rivals kind of hitting the national spotlight lately. The Chiefs. All right. So, anyways, let's get into this. I think the Raiders are doing exactly what they should be doing, and they are proving that they are a more mature organization going forward with Pete Carroll. When you have a good GM in place and a good coach, and they are steering the ship. So, here's what we're going to do in this. We're going to talk about your most recent signing. All right. And, well, at least fairly recent. All right, we're going to talk about that and why it is such a good value addition. It is a phenomenal value add. But then we're going to talk about some of the value you've been getting in free agency, specifically when it comes to years going forward as well. It was so enticing, I think, for so many fans to see that big cap number this year and just go full throttle into it. And I'm going to tell you why you haven't gone crazy and gone full throttle into spending your entire cap. You did some. I mean, hello, Max Crosby, but also how this is setting you up for a perfect position next year. In many ways, this is the opposite of what I thought they would do because they got an older head coach in Pete Carroll, and I thought he would be like, let's go, let's win now. But the options are staying aplenty. They're staying wide open for the future at the quarterback position, in the free agency, with their salary cap, everything. And we're going to jump into all that. But first, I want to talk to you about a player that you brought in and how it has the Pittsburgh Steelers fans puzzled. All right, puzzling Pittsburgh didn't re-sign Elandon Roberts. Steelers writers weigh in on linebackers. Basically, what this does is this goes on to talk about, like, why did they allow him to walk? And they're just like, honestly, we don't know. It's puzzling. The Steelers turned around and gave a bigger deal to Malik Harrison, who seems like a slightly worse version of Roberts, but he's younger, right? This isn't the first time we've gone, and by we, again, I'm a Lions fan, but the Steelers are the first time the Raiders haven't gone into the Steelers well. Robert Spillane was a Steeler. This is interesting to me. Robert Spillane, I'm going to try and, if I can get you to zoom in on this, this is PFF ratings. He played with Pittsburgh, all right, for his first 4 years of his career, and his career took off with the Raiders. He was not a great, I mean, he was an okay player for the Steelers, and his career took off with the Raiders. Now we're going back into it, and we're getting a guy in Elandon Roberts whose career, quite frankly, took off in Pittsburgh. He struggled throughout much of his career, especially in Miami, was still getting plenty of reps. And then he started grading out so much better over the last 2 years. Like, this is a great deal. So Spillane goes and signs a big contract. You lose him. Everybody's frustrated. Then all you do is you go out and you get a guy who was Spillane's replacement in Pittsburgh, who was better than Spillane in Pittsburgh. And now he's coming to Vegas to play with the Raiders. That's hilarious to me. So I really did think that that was a really smart decision by the Raiders. Now let's get into a couple of other things when we talk about free agency. I don't want to, I don't want to mix things up here. I think it's very interesting when we look at this, what they have done in free agency. And as I get my computer to do the right thing, I'm going to look at departed and re-signed. And it might look like a struggle, but departed, your tight end, Harrison Bryant, K'Lavon Chason, no big deal. Divine Diablo, that's a bummer. Marcus Epps, Nate Hobbs, Madison, Trayvon Mulrig, Robert Spillane. But a lot of these players, what you see is the contracts that they received were clearly more than the Raiders were willing to pay. They are clearly valuing value. That is important to them right now. Mulrig got a big deal. Spillane got a big deal. They replaced them with guys that didn't necessarily go bigger. And by the way, the guys that they re-signed outside of Max Crosby were all guys that they got back on good deals. Like, what is worth? Here's the thing. Divine Diablo's fine. He's a fine linebacker. He's fine. Epps, Mulrig, they're all good players. But I don't like paying big money to pretty good players. You have the haves and the have-nots in the NFL. That's how so many rosters are formed. When you look at the Eagles, who just won a Super Bowl, that is how their roster is formed. You have the big money players that are getting money, and then you have the have-nots. And you hope that some of those have-nots, as far as salary goes, can make some more money than the haves. Or not more money, but more plays. And then you need good drafting. We'll get into the drafting portion of this in a minute. But then you have the released goodbye Gardner Minshew. But then you have the outside signings. None of these guys signed massive deals. But you can make an argument that all of them are players that are going to be good contributing players. Kappa's probably going to be your starting right guard. Jeremy Chin, I love him at safety. I think he's fantastic. All right. Raheem Mostert, upgrade over who you lost in Madison. Because he's old, but he's just faster. Elandon Roberts, I think a lot of you are going to be saying mid-year, like, is this guy better than Spillane? You might actually be wondering the question. Eric Stokes, no problems with that one. None at all. And then don't forget about the trade for Geno Smith, which again, 1 year, not a big deal. So when you look at this, are they putting together a roster that is going to win it all? No, but I want to do a couple things. I want to look at your roster right now. When you look at this on the offensive side of the ball, forget defense, right? Forget defense. Your defensive line is nasty, all right, in a good way. All right, but let's not even necessarily worry about the defense right now. Let's look at offense. Where are the areas that you need the most improvement? You're pretty solid on the offensive line. All right. You've now got your quarterback for this year. You have arguably already the best tight end in the game when he was a rookie. You just need help as at running back and at wide receiver. And it's like, yeah, I know. And we didn't go out and make a big move at wide receiver. Okay, you're right. You didn't. But look at all these picks that you have. You have an early round pick or an early pick in every single round. Not to mention 3 picks in the 6th round. So that got me starting to think. A lot of people are saying this isn't a great wide receiver class. That's not true. It is a very good, very solid. Early in the 2nd round, who knows? Egbuka could fall. I don't think Golden's going to fall. Alec Ayamaner, whoa. Jack Besh, phenomenal players here. Like, these are good wide receivers. Jaden Higgins, if he falls to you in the 2nd round, hello. Like, this guy's upside is remarkable to me. Like, he has the same height and weight as T. Higgins. I know it's the same name. All right. But he has more wiggle. He has more explosion down the field. I don't know how this guy isn't rated higher. It's just bad quarterback play. All right. And I would say same with Trey Harris, pretty good player. Some people like him, but Jalen Noel, like, there is a wide receiver at the beginning of each round. At the beginning of the 2nd round, Alec Ayamaner or Jack Besh, go for it. Jaden Higgins, go for it. At the beginning of the 3rd round, Trey Harris, Jalen Noel, go for it. You can fix these things very, very quickly. Or, hey, you want to use your 6th pick, get Tet. I mean, it's all there. It makes sense what they're doing to put this team together. It just does. And there's going to be interior offensive linemen in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th round. There's going to be all types of things. You can see they're filling some needs in free agency, but they're not pushing the panic button. And I really, really respect that. And they just keep getting good value, and it's going to set them up for success in this draft. All right. Thank you so much for watching this. If you like this, you've watched all the way here, please hit that subscribe button. It's really helpful for us. And we'll see you in the next one.